Shalom, shalom, shalom. Happy Sabbath, happy Sabbath. Yours truly. When Nation Israelite School, I'm gonna turn on, get you a quick vision. You see, it's your boy. Shalom, 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 shalom. All right, we're gonna get into a little Q&A. Can you explain? I got some things I need y'all to hear today. It's bad. I am turning the visual off. All you need to do is hear what's going on. Make sure you get your notes. Alrighty, shalom, shalom, shalom. Wow. Once again, I'm your host with the most, teacher Judea at One Nation Israelite School. All right, I got my peoples with me. Everybody in the city, and I keep them with me. All right, y'all. Let's get into this. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Today we gonna go with all right, so I'm gonna deal with a couple of these questions that then came in. Then I also got one very disturbing thing that I must address with these questions. I don't know which one to start with first. The worst might turn this whole damn segment off. Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit real quick. You know, they got you know, those who are panicking with the government shutdown, right? Mm-hmm. So it almost makes you wonder, at the rate that some of these people panicking, like, who do they actually serve? Right. You know what I'm saying? Because Then you got those, you know, that they put their trust and their strength in Egypt, which is what we living in now, the spiritual Egypt. So they trust is in Egypt. So when Egypt fell, just like you had Israelites that wanted to run back, like when we left Egypt under the cloud through the sea with Moses, you had Israelites that they had so much trust and comfortability in that Egypt then that they want to go back. And it's the same thing here. Now you got our brothers and sisters amongst us that they got so much trust and love in the spiritual Egypt, which is America, that now as America starts to fall, they panic and they want to, if we was to leave America, they would want to come back. Right. So you see the rest of our people through that. But Donald Trump is my kind of devil. I told y'all that when he got elected. I told you that was my kind of devil right there. He ain't wasting no time getting straight to business. You know what I'm saying? Now, so when he shuts down the government, and I'll tell y'all shouldn't be worried about that. Those of us keeping the commandments, don't worry about that. Right. One nation, don't worry about that. We just gonna keep keeping the commandments, and we're gonna keep helping each other when we get to the point where we about to go under, and that's what's gonna be. Of course, every man around me knows to get yourselves a sword. You know what I'm saying? We don't teach. You don't teach. Don't get no gun. You don't need no. No, nigga, get you a gun. That's what we teach. Get you one. Get you 3 or 4 of them if you can. Hell. So, yes, we do teach that. As a fact, let's get a scripture real quick for why we teach that. It's in Luke, right? Luke. It's in Luke. I know it's in Luke. Let me find it. I think Luke 2 somewhere. It's Luke 22. I said chapter 2. I'm tripping. Yeah, I was like, Luke 22. Start at Start at 36. Luke 22, 36.
Luke chapter 22 and verse 36. Then said he unto them, but now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one.
So the scripture is telling you clear. This is in red writing. He that have not a sword, if you got a purse, what the purse is your money, your pouch, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Something of value. Take that, trade it, and get you a sword. Right. Now, brothers ain't running around here swinging machetes today. No, when people come at you, they come at you with guns now. So the sword of today is the gun.
Right. Like you said get 34, like 38. 38, he said, and they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, it is enough.
Right. So you got to be prepared for the comeback, for the kickback, because guess what? Like I've said before, why do we not care about the government shutdown? Because the government has never done any goddamn thing to benefit us regardless. When there was people that was last year, the government was fully funded, right? Did that stop them from killing goddamn how many Negroes last year? No. The year before that, they was fully funded. Did that stop them from killing all the Negroes?
No.
So what is the damn difference? There's no sense of safety for those who are sinning anyways, whether the government is funded or not. And for those who keep the commandments, there's no terror to good works, whether the government is funded or not. Now, what happens is we're in a time of Jacob's trouble. So you know what's happening. The persecution gonna come. What's going on is now you get to the point where let's just say if the government never comes back to play. Now we do know that they already told Section 8 we're not paying in a month, y'all gonna be getting evictions. Now, just to throw some out there, about a year ago, sisters were I don't need no man, I'm independent woman. We're gonna find out just how independent and just how much of a man you don't need in these next as time progress, right? Now, sister say, you don't make enough money for me. Sister never spoke, didn't say nothing, treated me like yeah. Yeah, saw me going to work the other day. Good morning, LT. I said, Double Trump is out here humbling women. God damn it. That devil need a hand. So Donald Trump is out here. These independent, I don't need no man type one. We're going to see, because you come into the time where guess what? Even your so-called studs, as you know what I mean by that, the bull-dagging women. The woman coming out of them now, they getting afraid.
That's why the government was supporting that LGBT shit.
Yeah, when it's time for real comeback, it's got to be a man there. Because guess what happens to all you independent, I got my own job and own career type women. When the brothers is hungry and they out on savage mode, when they look to that house and they don't see there's a man that comes to that door, before I go to the house where the man is at, where you think I'm going to go? I'm going to go to the house where the woman at. Why? Because if I go to that man house, I'm going to have to kill him or he's going to kill me. Right. But if I come to the woman house, I think I take my odds against her. Yeah. When the so-called white man comes, he don't just come and take enough of himself. He's taking everything, including your body. Right. So he's raping you, your kids. He killing you. He taking this, he taking that. The white man is a natural terror. He's a natural monster. He's a beast. So, and this time you're gonna see now. When you start putting it all into perspective and you start watching how it plays out. Now, like I told you, we shouldn't be worried about that. Right. But let's just say, if the worst comes out of what's gonna come, right? Yeah. Then you get this time comes. Go to like it. Isaiah, right? Isaiah 4:1.
Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach.
Right. So now, when you get to the times like this where there's no safety for a woman without a man in the house, everything comes. Watch what I tell you. It'll be all them so-called independent, don't need no man type women. They'll be begging a man to take them in to be their wife. 7 women shall try to take hold on one man. Now, am I telling you that the man's going to marry all 7 of them? No, but I am telling you this is going to be presented. Right. Why? Because in the time of Jacob's trouble, if you do notice, we already have a shortage on men to the number of women in the earth today, right. As at least in our race. Right. Because prison and what?
Death and homosexuality.
Well, yeah, all that's gonna get killed off. But so you won't have it at this point in time. Donald Trump is humbling women. I'm telling you, any brother, you brothers, you single, you talking about you need a wife, you can't find one, you better find one in a minute, goddamn it. you naturally better get you one in a minute. Just hold tight. Just say, Donald Trump, keep it going. Keep it going. All right. All right. So I was thinking about that. There's a lot of stuff I want to touch about the government shutdown, but I don't want to actually let the things that I want to do overrule, you know what I'm saying, the questions that's been sitting in the inbox. And I ain't going to answer a lot of them today either. So whichever ones get called on, they get called on. The other ones, I will get back to you as soon as possible.
Right. He did what he called temporary reopening.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't hear that word temporary. He's gonna close that bit right back down.
Yeah. You see how some people they got all their food stamps for this month and the month that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of them are going, man, I was like, damn, y'all just gonna buy up all the meat, huh? Y'all just gonna buy up all the goddamn meat. And somebody came trying to sell me the little bit they got. I said, you do know that you ain't reeing up next month, right? You know, go ahead and sell them if you want to. Now, you brothers who go to work, y'all gonna be like gold. You brothers who go to work and keep the commandments, you're gonna be like gold.
Right.
Because everybody else is gonna start running around here getting themselves killed,
right,
thrown in prisons,
right,
and all the extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? So as of now, like I'm currently in the state of trying to get the sister with her getting her firearm so she can be able to protect herself, at least have a chance.
Right.
If the worst come to worst. Same thing. Well, y'all in the house together, y'all know how the union work, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all know what y'all doing when it comes to them things. Just in case, let's say you happen to be gone. You might have said, okay, well, we saw him leave. Go now.
Right.
So the worst come to worst, we not worried.
Yeah.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be. We gonna do what it do. And if combat comes our way, combat.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I know we coming on top.
Right. So for those who ain't practice no gardening skills and all that stuff, I don't know what the heck. And One Nation gonna be straight. I'm gonna tell all my people how you do it. So Lord's will, this thing is over pretty soon. And I ain't talking about no government because I don't care about that.
Right.
But this captivity as a whole.
Right.
All right. So any inputs, anything before we move forward?
They better get their ish together. That's what I know. Boy, it's gonna get tragical times. Ain't got it together. Shame on you.
We'll put her down.
Right.
All right. First question is, what the hell is my? Oh shit, I'm tripping. Can you explain 1 Corinthians 10 and 23? No sweat, no.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things are edified not.
Okay. Read it again.
All things are lawful for me.
All right. So it says all things are lawful for me. What is that talking about? What does that first part mean?
All things are lawful for me. You know, keeping the laws.
Yeah. For lack of better words. So when it says all things are lawful for me, everything that I do is lawful. You say, he's not breaking God's laws, in other words. Everything that you see he does, when you look at him, just know he's doing it according to the law. It's lawful. It's no law that you can pull against him to say he's breaking it. That's why I say all things are lawful for me. Now, but you got to understand the reason why I'm explaining it because some people will read this and think that, oh, that means you can eat pork. Mm-hmm. Pork is lawful to me. And no, it wasn't. You understand? You didn't have to explain that to people back then. They knew the laws. They knew that you couldn't eat pork.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Today, we the people that we try to make any scripture mean we can eat what we want to. All right. So he says, all things are lawful for me, right?
Yeah.
Read on.
But all things are not expedient.
Expedient.
And
that says, but all things are not expedient, right? So now that part, you understand what that's saying? So all things are lawful for me. Everything I'm doing is lawful. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. Anybody else? Okay, watch this. I'm gonna show you kind of what he means. Because think about it as the scribes and Pharisees. Mm-hmm. You're saying that all things are lawful. Now, remember, for me, when he said all things are lawful for me, remember that was talking about he's not breaking God's laws. When you look at him, you see him keeping the laws. So when you think about it in the scribes and Pharisees sense, and it says all things are not expedient, I'm gonna show you. Go to John real quick. St. John 4:23, and we're gonna come back to it. Oh, okay. Yeah.
St. John chapter 4 and verse 23. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father,
that's it, right?
For the Father seeketh such to worship him.
Right. So it says those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth, right? Mm-hmm. So the reason why that's important, because the scribes and the Sadducees, they had you following them carnally, meaning they would tell you not to commit adultery, but then themselves were doing what? Right. So they had you following them carnally, but in truth, they wasn't serving either. Yeah. So go back to where we was at, right? And I'm gonna just break it out if y'all ain't catch it yet. So read it again.
All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
But all things are not expedient. So basically, when it's saying all things are not expedient to get to you, in lack of better words, it's just saying that just because something is written doesn't mean that you have to do it. Now, if you hear me say that, some people are like, what the hell you mean? If it's written, we're supposed to do it. Right? That's a thought, right? Yeah. So now what's going on here is what I'm saying is all things that are written, just because something is written doesn't mean you actually have to do it. And by that, I'm gonna give you an example so I can clear up that theory, that logic. Marriage, right? Is it written? Yeah. It's a law, right? Is marriage a law? Yeah. Okay. But does that mean that you need to just go out and get married? No. Why? Because everybody's not built for marriage. Mm-hmm. Some people, you are better off not being married because marriage becomes a distraction to you. And remember, Christ himself was saying, man, hell, when he was teaching them, the disciples, they said, man, hell, it's better for a man not to even get married. Right. And Christ was like, you're right, but everybody can't receive that. So just because marriage is written, does that mean that you have to go get married? No, because that ain't expedient for certain people. Another example, there was laws of land. Like if you had land, it was laws about that land. Mm-hmm. Now, let's say I have no land. It don't apply. It's not expedient for me. Can I break that law? No, I can't even break that law because I don't got land. So just because, here's another one. A lot of Israelite schools use it because they into the multiple wives and things. Now I don't speak against what they got going on or whatever. I just don't practice it. Right. Why? Because everybody's not built to deal with multiple wives. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. If you catching hell but one, hell you need 3 or 4 of them. Right. Some brothers, they shouldn't even have one. Right. We've seen that, and brother got drugged right out of the building. so just because you reading the scriptures, this dude had 3 or 4 wives, right? Mm-hmm. Does that mean everybody need to go out and get 3 or 4 wives? No, it's not expedient. All right. So just because something is written doesn't mean that you must go do it. You have to do it. No, some of that stuff not expedient to you. And finish this out.
All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
But all things edify not. So that's the case in point there. You know what I'm saying? All things don't edify. So let's say I'm eating food, right? Mm-hmm. Now, they in the same room as me, but they celebrating a birthday. let's do that. Let's say I'm eating, and they over here celebrating birthdays. Is that edifying for me to sit in the vicinity with them, and there's somebody new in the truth?
No.
That's there?
No.
Because when they look, what does it look like?
He's celebrating a birthday. He eats some birthday food.
Yeah, he eating in the sacrifices.
Right.
That don't edify him. That's going to be a stumbling block. Because later on, when that situation faces him, then he's thinking, well, as long as I ain't actually celebrating in the same spirit, I can just eat the food. Mm-hmm. That's not expedient. And that doesn't edify. It does, but just in the wrong way. He's going to die behind it. All right. So anybody else confused about that one particular verse? Y'all sure?
Yeah.
All right. So now let's go to Salakia. Let's go to how do y'all hate Edomites? How do y'all hate Edomites? Y'all must don't read. The law says clearly, thou shalt not hate Edomites. Deuteronomy 23:7. Ooh, he got me on that one. I guess I ain't never read that. I'm scared now. Let's get that. Deuteronomy 23:7.
Can you write them back a question? Whoever it is there a longer Edomite or somebody in that family Edomite? I'm curious.
Yeah. That's what I need to know. But good thing you live because you can hear your question.
Yeah, that's my question. I'm curious, man. You must got somebody you love who Edomite. Old baby. Susan A.
Okay, so let's deal with this because you know what? I actually like this question. I don't like the way it was worded, but I actually like this question. Why? Because this is something that gets thrown a lot of times when we bring out the truth. Mm-hmm. And they always say, well, what about this verse? Mm-hmm. And you know what? I've seen a lot of people get confounded with this verse.
That's why I got mine.
So let's deal with it.
Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 7. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land.
Hold on real quick. 23. All right, read it again.
Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 7. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land.
All right. So now, everybody in here, right? Mm-hmm. What does the word abhor mean?
Hate.
Right. That's 100% correct. So when you read the scripture, it sounds like it's saying what?
You shouldn't hate him.
You should not hate Edomite, nor should you hate an Egyptian. Okay. He got me. He got me. I'm sorry. I've been teaching y'all wrong. You cannot hate the Edomites nor the Egyptians. All right.
Stop speaking that Spanglish, man.
So let's find out what this scripture really means, obviously, because that is the completely wrong understanding. Let's find out what this means. First of all, what you got to understand is thou shalt not abhor an Edomite and an Egyptian. This was a temporary law.
Right.
And I'm going to prove to you when it says that they are thy brother. Now you got this is first common sense that you need to use. Well, he is thy brother, right? Now, if Esau is Jacob's older brother, mm-hmm. and you're Jacob's son, is Esau your brother? Esau would be your what? That would be one thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's find out what really happened here. Let's go to 1 Samuel 15, verse 1 through 3. Now, I remember I said this was a temporary law. Mm-hmm. The way you prove that off dribble is this right here. 1 Samuel 15 and 3. Shalom, Sanai, shalom.
1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel.
Now, who is Amalek?
Some fake Jews over there.
Which is?
Edom.
The sons of Esau, which makes them Edomites.
Right.
Okay, watch this.
How he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not.
Now, the scripture says that we were commanded to go and destroy them and everything that they have. Why didn't they say, you said not to abhor them?
Right.
Read on.
Let me tell you how bad it is. It says, but slay both man and women, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass.
So it said to slaughter everything over there. Now, for those who've read ahead of us in history or who've read Samuel, why did Saul get kicked out of kingship? What was the thing that he didn't do that the Most High got pissed off with him about?
He didn't kill him.
Right. He spared him.
Right. Broke his damn head.
And because he didn't do that, the Most High grew angry with him and drew from him.
Right.
All right. So now watch this. Go to Amos chapter 1, verse 9.
Amos chapter 1 and verse 9.
Now, what's going to happen here is you're going to read something that's going to be very interesting.
That's going to be a game over to you. Amos chapter 1 and verse 9. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they deliver up the whole captivity to Edom.
Right. Now, Tyrus is what? Right. Go ahead.
And remember not the brotherly covenant.
And he did what?
He remembered not the brotherly covenant.
So he delivered us to Edom, and Edom took us into captivity, and they Edom, because remember the brotherly covenant was between who?
Edom and us.
Right. It just told you he did what with the brotherly covenant?
He broke
it. Read again.
Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they deliver up the whole captivity to Edom, and remember not the brotherly covenant.
Read on.
But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the place thereof. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
That's it. So there he remembered not the brotherly covenant, telling you he broke the brotherly covenant. He broke it. Okay, and then he pursued us with a sword, killed us innocently, and kept his wrath forever.
Right.
Let's go to Joel chapter 3, verse 19.
Joel chapter 3 and verse 19. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate.
So it's telling you Edom and Egypt are both going to be destroyed. Go ahead.
Desolate wilderness. For the violence against the children of Judah.
For what?
For the violence against the children of Judah.
For what?
For the violence against the children of Judah.
Read.
Because they have shed innocent blood in their land.
So this right here is the breakdown to understanding that Deuteronomy 23 and 7 is no longer void. I mean, no longer standing. That thing, right. That contract been void. That check bounced.
Right.
Okay. So now I'm going to give you another understanding so you can kind of understand what that is going into. What the only part of that covenant that still stands. Remember when the Most High said that whoever seek revenge on Cain, he was going to punish them? Yeah. Same thing stands with Esau. So when it says to not hate him, why do everybody take that into this? Oh, we can't have a strong dislike for him. We can't tell his sins, his past, his doings. Everybody takes that and says, oh, no, you got to love him. You can't hate him because God said it. Well, let me ask you a question. This is how you know it's not talking about an emotion or the way you feel towards him. What is the love? What is love to God?
Keeping his laws and commandments.
Do we have a precept?
Oh, yeah.
Give me, just give me whichever one you got.
All right. 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
Right. So it says that we keep his commandments, right? That's action.
Big action.
That means you're doing it. You're doing something, right? So then if to love God is to keep his commandments, to do his commandments, right? Then what is hate to God?
Not doing his commandments.
Meaning you're doing something. You're breaking the commandments.
Right.
So if that's the case, then how do you hate Esau?
By keeping God's commandments.
But not keep on.
Right.
Oh.
You can, to unlawfully harm him. It's an action. It's not about you not liking him. It's not about you telling who he is, letting him know he's the devil. That's not hating him. Hating him would be for you to take God's revenge into your own hands.
Right.
And you trying to execute judgment by yourself.
Right.
That's why when we go to court, we can always tell them, listen, we can teach what we want. We can say what you want. There's nothing you can do. Why? Because there's a law in an amendment that defends me speaking what I want to speak. The only thing I'm not advocating to do is tell people to go out and harm you.
Right.
I'm not advocating to go out and say I'm going to take vengeance on my own. Well, I'm going to personally do something to you.
Right.
There's no tape they can run back that so that we've ever said anything in here about going to personally hurt an Edomite.
No.
Because we don't hate Edomites on individual basis.
Right.
We hate them as a nation.
Damn right.
This is a judgment that they got to deal with God about.
Right.
It's some Edomites that they never did nothing to me.
Right.
They've never done anything to me, but their people have.
Right.
And so I bumped into a white man in the store. I'm not gonna just walk up and bust him in his face, even though he would be well deserving.
Right.
But I'm not gonna just do it. Why? Because he's done nothing to me.
Right.
But if he puts me in danger, then I won't hesitate.
Right. One gave me a ride home one day. Guess what? He ain't my damn friend. Thanks for the ride. Get your heathen ass up out of there.
But yeah, so understand this. We don't hate the so-called white man as an individual because it's some Edomites that ain't never done nothing to us personally.
Right.
But as a nation of people, oh yeah, I hate your stinking guts.
Right, but that's that Christianity mindset. He gotta love them. They hate you.
Mm-hmm.
The heck is you talking about? You the only people for somebody that hates you and then tell them something we gotta love them. Why they going upside their dang head? I love you.
You're listening to Martin Luther King and all this foolishness, right? That's bad. Let's deal with that. Give me that. Yeah. So let's deal with Martin Luther King real quick because that's something else. Someone's like, why do y'all talk with so much disdain against Martin Luther King? I'm gonna show you why, and then I'm gonna let you know something else. Martin Luther King ain't the only one who fit this prophecy.
You're right.
It's a false 12-tribe chart been going through the nation for years off of somebody's lying ass dream.
I'm gonna start off at 21 because 21 said it beautiful.
Where you at?
Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 21. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. Cute. I have heard what the prophets said that prophesied. That's verse 25. I have heard what the prophets said that prophesied lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed.
Now, what man came out with the infamous speech, I had a dream? And his dream had nothing to do with the Most High's will.
Not at all.
Because his dream was one of the worst things that ever happened to our community. Why? Because before his dream, we knew who the enemy was.
All right.
We had our own stores, our own little communities. So what if it wasn't the best?
Right. It was doing good.
Right. It was our community. We owned our own side of town. And his dream, like I went to this place in the country, right?
Right.
This place was called and it you know it was old school. It was something like I can't remember the lady name, but it was the lady name's Kitchen. It was her name, and it was Kitchen. That was the name of it. Like for example, for those who might not understand, it was something like Lucy Pearl's Kitchen.
Oh Lord, yeah, country.
Right. So I go, park my little car, my truck, get out. I see it. I couldn't get in. I'm at the back. I didn't know I was at the back. That's our country. Lady stuck her head on that. I said, "You looking for Lucy Pearl's Kitchen?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Come on in here, baby." When I knew I had to come in through the back door, I said, "Oh Lord, this is gonna be good." So I sit on down. Gets ready to eat. She bought fried chicken, macaroni, rice, gravy, and some homemade cornbread. And some sweet tea on the side. So, best goddamn cooking out of 8 other restaurant. I eats it up. And I said, "How long this place been open?" And she said this place was open since 60-something. Since the 60-something. Now, guess what? Martin Luther King's dream killed many other little restaurants like that, because his dream told us eating at Lucy Pearl's Kitchen wasn't good enough. We need to eat at the Coffee Cup Cafe.
Right.
So we'll go somewhere where they'll spit in your face, but you get to drink a cup of coffee, or they'll pour the coffee on your head.
Right. How is it?
Just for you to, but you doing that just to be able to sit in there so a white person can hand you a plate, because I guess the food ain't as good if they don't give it to you. So think about how many we had our own community where we were living and our money was together. Now you got him telling you spending money here ain't good enough to eat from the black woman that stay up the street from you. No, you need to go cross the tracks and eat over here. So what you think happens? It's not good enough to spend your money in Mr. Henry's corner store, yet we need to go across there and let them not accept our money, protest until they take our money. So now what happens? The unity of our house, of our neighborhood, is no longer unified. Why? Because now it's not good if we can't spend it with the other people. Mm-hmm. My daughter shouldn't date a black man because I have a vision that little white boys and little white boys and black girls shall hold hands, and black boys and black girls shall hold. His dream was damn near the same as Black Wall Street destruction to our community. Okay, so now it's a whole nother level that you go when you talk about that dumbass dream that he said he had. The Bible told you that was a false prophet. He lied. So now his dream, now let's correlate that with the next brother by the name of Ariel, with his lying-ass 12-tribe chart, who said he had a dream and it was revealed to him who the children of Israel are. And you know what? That allowed him to do what? Bring in people that are not of our people and bring them in. So now what happens? Now our people have always been in our idolatrous people, I guess you could say.
Right.
So now the black woman that you grew up in the school with, the one who used to laugh at her when she getting her hair combed because it used to pop like yours did, and she be in the chair and all that stuff, you know, all that sister, that one that came up with you, the one that she didn't have as much as you, it wasn't good to marry her anymore. No. Why marry her when you go get her?
dog hair.
You know what I'm saying? So think about it. That 12-track chart is the same thing as Martin Luther King's dream. It's about mixing. And of course, think about this. You gotta put yourself in a real shoe. Lucid Pearl's chicken is better than any goddamn Chinese chicken. So think about this. That dream still hunts us today because who in the hell can fry chicken and rice better than the goddamn black woman?
Nobody.
But yet, why can't she get her established like that? Why? You want to know why? Because through that dream, it's taught you go get his chicken and fried rice.
Right.
Go get their chicken and fried rice.
Right. That's crazy because you know our people way better cooks. And they struggle and go through hell to get their establishment and business off the ground. Either Mike can just go and get a loan and their business instantly start booming.
All right, because what they say, you gonna open this up in Nigga Town, or you get that money back fast. Here you go.
Right.
Why? Now let you try to open a business in your own place. That business right there had some of the best damn Jamaican food I ate, and it only stood for 2 months.
How crazy is that?
But yet, the one that's owned by the I don't even know his nationality, but like Golden Crust.
Oh, okay. Probably Arab, because he say West Indian. Yeah, Arab.
Mm-hmm. Golden Crust is standing right now. But guess what? It's a shop somewhere where there's a black woman selling the same exact food. Mm-hmm. But you're taught and trained not to go buy it from her, to go buy it from him. That's what that dream did. All right. Right now, even with y'all little thing, when y'all doing y'all little entrepreneurship, a dude will go in the store and spend $50, $60 on a belt. Now, to buy it from you, it need to be $30. It need to be $20.
Hey, hold on. You're absolutely right. No motherfucker will pay $500 out the store for a belt. And you can come with a whole lot. I just want $60. $60?
I'm gonna show you something that messed me up. It was at a fair. At the fair about 2 years ago. Remember, the black dude, he had a hot dog. He said it was $3. They were like, man, who the hell you think you got special dogs or something?
Yeah.
They went 2 stands over to the Arab man.
Right.
He said $3.50. It's like, look back at the black dude, then went to the other one. White man told him $3. They said, oh, that's a good price. That's a good price.
Right.
The first dude told you it was $3.
Right.
His hot dogs wasn't good enough. They had to be some type of special dogs. The Arab told you $3.50, and then the white man told you $3, and you said, okay, he got a good price. Well, why not go back to where you originally started then?
Right.
That dream is and that dream right now is destroying our nation because now it's allowing them to have these damn Indians cussing and talking. Have you noticed when them pale skinned mother lovers get their ass up there on the teaching block out there, call themselves trying to wake up the nation, they talk rude and disrespectful to our people.
Right.
Why they ain't calling the Puerto Rican women hoes?
Right.
But you do it to the black women. Love it. That's one of the clear signs right there that you can tell when a heathen's around, because they think that it gave them a privilege to call everybody nigga.
Right, it's a power. Now he's like, yeah, I got that nigga power through me.
Right. So that damn dream is some garbage.
And then I'm glad you said that, because this is what our people don't understand how messed up their dream was. I went to go watch older movies back then in the 60s. When they had a TV stations in our neighborhood, it was black faces, black people, black commercials. Now he started preaching that integration bull crap. They preach whiteness is the beauty. And the women be ugly as hell. And they be sitting up on TV because she got blue eyes, green eyes, blonde. Man, the dog maggot lights head there.
Listen, like, understand this. What part of the dream, like, this is what I be saying this a lot. I'm saying, now you had this dream. Did that dream include all them ass whoopers that you got us? Because if it did, you should have warned us before we joined that mission. Like, When you walking up, that dream ain't got nothing to do with the Most High. When you talking about walking up and down the street singing, "We shall overcome," getting slapped over the head with watermelons. Right. I'll tell you. I told y'all last year. No, 3 years ago. I think that's when we did that. I said I told y'all then. Them was better than me because say what you want, but you know that "We shall overcome." I hate that song. And then they hit you with that Billy Club, right? First thing I did was took off. "We shall over." Go, man.
But you can tell you can tell why he do it. Because you was be real. You come to some Negroes like, "Listen, I had a dream, this and that, little white, dumb, stupid bitches, enjoying hands," and then you say, "But we gonna get whooped across our head." Hey, Martin Luther King, you got me effed up, bro.
Right.
Like you getting tossed over bridges, all type of stuff.
Right. Getting beat to death. Yeah, shot with water hoses.
Right. Spray with water hose, slapped over the head with watermelons. That image still messed me up when I saw that watermelon break across that girl's head. Now, forgive me for laughing, but it bugs me when people ask, why do we have such a disdain towards Martin Luther King? Because you want to see Martin Luther King's dream? Right. Look at what you're living in today.
Right. But they hate Malcolm X. You bring him up, that nigga was crazy. Mm-hmm. He was crazy. Nah, he had the right mind. You hit me, I'm gonna blow your damn head off. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Don't touch me, bro.
So that's pretty much it on that. And then of course Martin Luther King's dream is no different than the 12 tribe chart dream.
Yeah, I feel.
Which is a bunch of BS.
Right.
All right. Can you explain 1 Corinthians 15? This 15? 1 Corinthians 15, verse 12.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 12. Now, if Christ be preached that he rose from the dead, how say some among you that there is no resurrection of the dead?
Right. So when you're reading this, what is this actually talking? What is this whole thing about? What is this conversation about?
I don't know. It seems like it's trying to say, why you can't say that people can rise from the dead or come back to life. That's what it's saying.
No, I want what the point of this whole conversation is. What's the operative word in this?
Yeah, Christ's resurrection.
Not Christ's resurrection, but
resurrection.
Right. So the operative word here is resurrection, which is the whole conversation. Mm-hmm. All right. So why? Because there were some who what?
Rose from the dead.
Didn't believe in resurrection.
Oh, okay.
Like the Pharisees, Sadducees, they didn't believe in that. Remember when we went through Matthew's? Yeah. Yeah, so they didn't believe in resurrection, so they were speaking against it. But now here Paul is saying what to them? Read it again.
Now, if Christ be preached that he rose from the dead, how say some among you that there is no resurrection of the dead?
Mm-hmm.
You read it?
Yeah.
But if there be no resurrection of the dead, then is Christ not risen? And if Christ be not risen, then is our preaching vain, and your faith is also vain?
Right. So it's saying, if Christ is not risen, then our preaching is in vain, mm-hmm. And so is your faith. Now, the reason why he could talk like this because even before Christ, we have it in the records of people being raised from the dead.
Right.
I'm saying, Elijah with the little boy. Remember, there was a famine going around, and the lady had just enough to feed her and her child. Mm-hmm. And Elijah said, "Feed me. Don't feed your son and you. Feed me first." Now, the lady had faith, so she didn't feed her child or herself. She fed Elijah. Her son got sick. He died. Elijah raised him back from the dead. Right. So now people say, now that's heavy because people say that we selfish if we say, deal with the prophets first. Let us get us first. I remember there was an argument on Facebook. Ain't no y'all ain't real men. And how the hell you gonna ask to eat before the kids? And what did Elijah just do? And it was only enough for her and her kid.
Ask to eat first.
Feed me.
You know how that's done? When your wife getting there and cook, right? She fixed who played first. The man played first.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's how you know you're dealing with some worldly women or some stupid, I want to be the head type women, because they'll never understand that. Guess what? As the prophet ate first, guess who eats first in the house? When I grew up, when I was young, my grandmother would literally cook, right? And she would fix my granddad his plate. He'd go let him start eating.
Right.
Fix his lunch.
Right.
Then fix everybody's plate.
Right. Remember?
That's how yeah.
Remember I told you my stepmama did the same thing. She prepped my daddy lunch and fixed him a big ass plate. And then she'll tell us, y'all come to the table. I'm fixing dinner. Like, come to the table, like.
Because you hear, you already know when he eating because you finally hear his fork hitting the plate.
Right.
Okay. He eating and we about to eat now.
Right.
so but that's how it works. It works. The man gets his plate first. Now you got in household what a man say, fix the kids first. That's cool. If that's how you choose to operate, but oh boy, here. I'm gonna get that plate ready, baby.
So I see I fix my baby. I'm like, that ain't my plate. Kids, my woman is going to get my plate ready. All kind of pots in it.
No, because the man, it's a certain, like I told you, it's privileges would come with being the man of the house, but it also comes with a detrimental fee.
Yeah, people don't get it.
Comes with a detrimental fee. So, all right, but I don't want to lose the point. Let's get back to the resurrection. All right, so let's go back to what was that? We start at 14. Read 15.
Verse 15. Yeah, and we are found false witnesses of God.
Right, hold on. Read 14 into 15 so it makes sense.
Verse 14. And if Christ be not risen, then is our preaching vain, and your faith is also vain.
Right, so right here, the way you would read that is kind of like, it's not like a question.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, if Christ isn't risen, then everything we're teaching is vain.
Right.
Like, if Christ is not risen, for us having this Bible, all of that is vain.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we not Israel.
Right.
If you're not Israel, if you're not an Israelite, having the Bible is vain.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and we are found false witnesses of God, because we have testified of God that he raised up Christ, whom he raised not up, if so be that the dead rise not.
Go ahead.
For if the dead rise not, then is not Christ raised, and if Christ be not raised, your faith is vain.
Right.
Ye are yet in your sins.
Right. Our faith, all of that stuff is vain, because one of the biggest things is that Christ is raised from the dead. Through Christ rising from the dead, I'm going to just read the verse. I don't give it away. Jump down to verse 22.
Verse 22.
But if Christ didn't rise, none of us would rise if Christ didn't rise.
Verse 22.
I mean 20.
Verse 20. But now is Christ risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept.
So Christ coming from the dead represents Salakia.
Verse 20.
Christ represents life.
Okay.
Basically here.
Right.
Basically saying Christ represents life. By Christ rising from the dead, we came into life. Because before Christ rose from the dead, we were dead to the Most High. All right. So by him rising, Christ became life. We'll read 21 to 22.
Verse 21. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead.
Right. Now, who can understand what that's saying? If Christ represents life. All right. So when you read 21 again.
Verse 21. For since by man came death.
For since by man came death. What is that talking about?
guess in a sense.
With Adam.
Through Adam, we all died.
Yeah.
Damn squirrel. Through Adam, we all died. Right? Through Adam came death. By Adam's transgressions, we all came to death.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
By man came also the resurrection of the dead. By
man also came the resurrection of the dead. What's that talking about? Right. Through Christ came the resurrection of the dead. We were all dead. Mm-hmm. In the world, some of us are still dead. Right. We still haven't woken up. Still haven't repented. But there would be no repentance if Christ's death didn't open life to us. All right. Finish this 22.
Verse 22. For as in Adam all die, even so in Christ shall all be made alive.
Saying the same thing. Through Christ all died. Through Adam all died. Mm-hmm. We all did. Through Adam we all died. But through Christ we all come to life. So if Christ hasn't risen from the dead, then you doomed. Your faith is vain. Everything is vain. Us doing all this is vain. And it's only making sense to them because, like, idiot, it's in the scripts. We have it before Christ and while Christ of people being rose from the dead. All right. So now, a lot of people want to know what's my take on the blue waffle thing. Yes, that was, they want to know. I didn't even put down scriptures for this situation. All right, now, how many of y'all are familiar with the blue waffle thing that took place?
Yeah, I'm familiar
with it. You familiar with it?
I know a little bit that came out, but
so. Yeah. Okay. All right. What happened is there was a sister at IUIC, right? Mm-hmm. She, I guess, married an officer or something like that. So, quote unquote, she came back with a thing, I guess, to say she had herpes or whatever. Yeah. But she didn't tell the brother. So, I can't tell you all the blue inner stuff that happened, but I can tell you what eventually happened is the brother decided he's not marrying her, and she say it's a lie. So, like I told you, that's why I don't want to put definites on any of it. But she said it was a lie. She rebelled against the leadership or whatever, their leadership, so-called, and they started outing her. So when she got put out, or she left, I don't know if she got put out or she left, it's one or the other. She started making a series of videos against IUIC. So, and it's all over the internet. You can watch it. You can watch all the videos she put out. All you gotta do is put in Gina Blue. Mm-hmm. Gina Blue on YouTube. All right. So she started putting out videos against IUIC and stuff. And some of the stuff she was actually using real footage. Some of the stuff she's saying is true. Some of the stuff I wasn't there to I can't bear witness to because I wasn't there at this time. So as she's hitting them with insults, they start retaliating because it was getting some hits. It was getting some hits. And people start sending her funds to keep dropping more videos, all that. So she was getting some hits. But so they started responding. And one of the ways they responded was to put out the blue waffle, which was talking about the disease. Y'all are familiar with the blue waffle disease, right? Yeah. Oh God.
What?
I've never heard that.
It just look like bumpy-ish, and it makes the skin look kind of blue down there. Yeah. So they called it blue waffle. Right. Yeah. So they start putting out blue waffle, and then the brothers the bishop, I guess, said, put it on your Facebook. So everybody started putting up this picture of blue waffles. Now, these other brothers at this time, in the midst of that whole Kanai, wicked foolishness, all that stuff that was going on, they was at odds with Kanai at this. So The brother took he's like, man, y'all shouldn't be doing that, such and such, such. And it's like, oh, you spoke against leadership. And it was yeah, you already know. So it spiraled out. Now these brothers broke up over a breakfast item, a blue waffle. Their love and their unity is split over a breakfast item.
They ain't even put no berries on it.
like you gotta think about this. Nobody in IUIC trusts each other.
Yeah.
Nobody in IUIC loves each other. And if they do, it is in a weird way. Yeah. Okay. So now all the homosexual accusations, all that stuff, nobody has a problem with that, but a problem with a blue waffle. I could not split with my brothers because the love that we supposed to have, what is supposed to be able to split that? Yeah. See, there's nothing. Now notice these brothers, IUIC and these brothers are going back and forth with each other, throwing insults, videos, like they literally, these brothers, they trying to crash IUIC down, IUIC trying to destroy these brothers completely. It is an all-out war on, and it's playing out in front of social media. There's no love that you telling me there was no love that was built in all that time. These brothers and were supposed to be brothers and together. They never built any type of love to nothing stops them from doing this to each other. See, for me, it's different. I would have to remember certain things. Like for me, when we say this is one nation, it's real. Actually, hell, I remember when when Solomon came in, when me and Solomon was clicking it, getting in here. I can remember the journey that we took. I can remember all those things, right? What didn't make me leave you? I wouldn't leave you. Would you leave me? No. Would it be a breakfast item? Could a blue waffle or something like that split you from me?
I can share some of that blueberry waffle with you.
No, but on serious note, real quick, because they need to hear this.
Oh no.
What would make you split from me?
You said what?
What would make you split from me? There is nothing that can make me split from you. And when I'm talking about a certain.
No, I understand. That's why I'm like, that I can't even. It'll be nothing.
Right, because at some point, the love we built supposed to brought us back to how do we deal with this here? Okay. We obviously can't work it out with our own words. Right. What's this gonna do? Let's go here.
Even if I was to start to fall out, I'll still come around and be trying to seek some kind of help to bring me back in.
When it comes to St. John, I remember when St. John came in. Brother wanted to fight every goddamn thing. and everybody. And I watched as we continue to water it, as St. John grows into who he is today now. Right. I remember when we paused the goddamn class because it took him 5 minutes to get to the books. Now I got to tell him, hold on, let me get there. I can remember all those journeys, all of that. There's nothing that could make me split from you. What would make you split from me? Would you leave me for something here? No. I remember when Adira came in. No. Not only was the sister willing to cuss everybody out, I remember watching the sister roll it up and blow it. You know what I'm saying? I remember, like you have to remember those things. I remember, and I watched the progress from when I watched the progress from the first conversation on the phone where we got off, when we started off talking shit, right, to today. Right. And I see that long line of progression. Now you gotta ask yourself, I wouldn't turn my back on you. There's nothing that could make me turn my back on you. Now you gotta ask yourself, what would make you turn? Would you turn your back on me?
No.
that means you're one nation.
Right.
Right. That makes you one nation. Why? Because one nation grows a love that there's nothing that can split it. There's nothing that can come in between it. Now, what will happen at one nation, before we turn our backs on you, we put your goddamn ass in the grave. And that's like, if you do something here that's just treacherous, such as you tried to backdoor behind St. John's back. Let's put it another way. If you are a traitor, if you betray this nation, you betray us, you are a dishonorable man, and you should be dealt with the same exact way the Maccabees dealt with the traitors.
No, I'll go ahead and dig that hole where his shoulders up.
No, but as far as us, no, we will not turn on each other. We will only do what? Try to redeem each other.
Right. Right.
So that is the thing. When it comes to the Blue Waffle situation, I was like, damn, a picture of a waffle tore up something that was supposed to be like a brotherhood. And then along with the pictures, and I'm not going to sit here and say that the two brothers are wrong for what they doing now, because they was catching hell of insults. Brothers was trying to destroy they was trying to destroy them, and they retaliated. And when they retaliated, they hit hard. And on top of that, now I will say, goddamn, when you watching it now, it just look like a whole bunch of just like, oh my God. But what would make me go to? You mean to tell me I can't Matthew's 18 with you brothers here? I can't Matthew's 18 with a sister. That's why, like I told you, when I watched that long line of progression with every last one of y'all, I could have easily just said, hey, don't bring your goddamn wife back here no more. But guess what? And there's some brothers, they receive that call. Some brothers, they receive that call. But for me, it's okay, what do you really think? It's one of my favorite. I love this sister. Let me call her. Come on, man. What's up, man? I was like, yeah, I can hear it. You was ready to go ahead and cuss me out right then. I was like, but I was like, and I was prepared for whatever. I was like, just get it out so we can move on. All of us got to have that same, that same heart towards each other where, all right, hell, me and St. John here, y'all know me sometimes we was at odds. we be at odds, and I have to call him. Well, as a fact, he'd call me. I probably wouldn't even answer that time. And then I call him back. Or you never know. Like, it's just like, okay, well, how many times I'm like, okay, well, we outside, we got to talk about these issues. We'll go ahead and get that knocked out and keep it moving. So that's the Blue Waffle thing in a nutshell. Now, those who ain't never seen Blue Waffle, yeah, I would say just go to Google, type in Blue Waffle STD.
It look worse than a hernia, my man. It look worse than a hemorrhoid.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, that thing is bad.
It look worse than a hemorrhoid.
I've never heard a lot.
And Sanatu, another one. Remember when she came in? Hell, how many times I had to get on that sister? Yeah, she ain't got to the point where she done walked out and left. Left and went back to the world for a minute and made her way back. Glory to the Father that He spared her life to give her the time to make it back. But yeah, the sister hadn't left us before, man. But she didn't become a traitor. She didn't go anywhere else. She made her way back.
Right.
All right, now to the one thing I've been dreading all day. Okay. Y'all got to hear this. Y'all got to hear this.
Yeah, a whole lot of bullshit. But go ahead.
Y'all got to hear this. Now, Nation of Israel. Just know. All right. Shalom. I am married to a wonderful man. We have been together 5 years. Married 2. My husband wants kids and have been trying to get me pregnant as of lately. And he has even started working on a kid's room. He has all these thoughts of him being a loving daddy. So lately he been making appointments to see a fertility specialist, but I've been canceling the appointments and he's been getting very upset about it. The problem isn't that I'm sterile and can't have kids. The problem is I'm a transsexual and never told him.
You heard?
I love him so much and I know he loves me too. This makes me nervous and my heart aches. We are so happy together. What should I do? Do I tell him the truth or do I quietly exit out of the marriage?
Go ahead, tell him so you die. Yeah.
When I read this, see, I've had over a week to sit on it now, but when I read it, first my eyes got watery, but I was immediately enraged with anger. And I was like, you deceived the man for 5 years. Now this man's ready to have kids and building a room and all this. He's going all out his way to try to find out how can he get you pregnant. And the reason you're not getting pregnant is because you are actually a man. What should you do? Should you tell him the truth or exit the marriage quietly?
Ask that question.
I think you should run to another goddamn country because he's gonna kill your ass when he find out. I think you should be dead. Honestly.
Damn right.
I try to compose myself because when it hit me, I couldn't even think of the words to explain this type of situation. I've never dealt with anything remotely even close to that. But I definitely think that I should be allowed to get the number to this man so I could tell him what's been going on.
Right.
You want to make right from it? Give me the permission to tell him what the hell's going on. I don't know how you can even restore that man's. You gotta think about this man for years. This man's been kissing you, laying beside you, laying with you. The scriptures tell you what, and you know what's gonna happen? The government will protect Esau will protect this homosexual against this man. One of y'all can take it away real quick. I need some time off.
It ain't no way to exit that quietly.
Exactly.
That man ain't gonna never trust again.
That's some low down shit, man.
You forced the man basically to be gay for 5 years.
5 years, married and all.
And then you got a wife.
At what point did she not think it was okay to go ahead and do it?
Did she?
Even if it was a year in and she was like, okay, this is real. You're supposed to tell him at the beginning if you was afraid. At some point, 5 years, you had all the ways of telling this man.
These men in the nation of Israel, you're Israelite man. I don't care how women feel offended. Go ask for all kind of proof of identity, man. Make sure that gender is what it is. When I see your birth certificate, everything.
Deuteronomy 23:1. I like, to be honest with y'all, man. This is one time I'm tell y'all, I don't even know how to. There's no quiet way to do that. There's no right way to do that. You can tell the truth, but I ain't guaranteeing you your safety afterwards.
Right.
He said 2021.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones or have his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Right. So he that have his privy member cut off, meaning his private part. If you have your private part cut off, you shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. That's one of the directs to you homosexuals, because we know, or you transsexuals, because we do know that in slavery they made men eunuchs, meaning they castrated men. But no, you went in and this wasn't something that was done according to your captivity. This was something that you did to your own will, because you think that it's okay for you to change your sex. And then if you're going to be a wicked, evil bastard, why not be a wicked, evil bastard by yourself, but to deceive another person into it? I don't really know how to explain this. I don't know how to explain this, man. I think threw me for a loop. Now, I think he deserves to know 100%. I just don't think that, well, unless he's a homosexual himself, there is no nice way to go about this. I can't guarantee you what's going to happen to you. But if you decide you want to, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I should be, I would like to talk to the dude, because there's people that kill themselves behind stuff like that.
Right.
And they can't live on knowing that they was with a dude. And America perpetuates this thing and makes you think that you are a woman. You are not a goddamn woman.
Grown ass man.
I get her credit for reaching out to you. I just feel like it's way too late.
Shalom, Israel.